Hi there. Okay, well, this was not a planned thing. Here's a mess. I was just going down to the mailbox a little while ago to get one of the hair dyes that I ordered because I was going to be bleaching all of this out. I was going to do a rainbow, but one of the colors is incredibly neon orange. Has not shown up, and the seller is being an ass, and I don't know what's happening. So I sent a snarky message saying I ordered this on March 31st, and it's supposed to be here on the 6th, and it hasn't even left California. What the heck? You know? And then I was seeing something else. I'm like, well, April and May is spring anyway. Maybe I'll do more springy, and then June, which is Pride Month. So that would even make sense, and that would be full color stuff for like June and July. So that kind of made sense, where I could do a springy thing. I saw something that was actually kind of cute, but I was just getting ready to go amble on down since it's Sunday and I don't have to wait for the mail to come for today. Go get the mail from Friday, and since obviously we had an earthquake here in Jersey, I mean, we are always having quakes, but usually they're below 2.5 on the scale. And anything like 2.5 or less, you're not really going to feel on the surface. So, that all happened, and I'm like, because I think it was in the mailbox. I got the message, the email that it was there on Thursday night. So I was go down in the morning Friday, and then that all happened. So it's been sitting there, and I was like, okay, I gotta bleach my hair. I was like, oh, that's when I realized the other color, and the pink is here. It's called hot pink, but the that orange psychedelic sunset is not. So I sent the snarky message, and I'm like, oh my, it's not even gonna get here till like not even Monday. I mean, I need to redo this. My blue green Easter tie-dye is fading and needing bleach at the roots. So I'm just gonna do that other thing. But the power just went out. And it wasn't just like a 2-3 minute power out. It was like 30 minutes. 20 minutes, something like that. Noticeable. And auxiliary, like usually we get within a minute or two, because this is a huge complex, pops on, and it didn't. I even heard the neighbors upstairs, heard them moving around, and as soon as the computer went off, everything went down, the fan stopped, noise up there stopped. I was just talking to her. It was like I freaking could see you because there was noise, power off. I was like, it was silent. She's like, what's going on? I know, because the first thing you think of, I paid the bill. It was only a $20-something bill. I paid my bill. And it did occur to me that, and I started thinking about it for the last, hour or so now. Took a while for the computer all to boot back up, and I know we had a power loss because when I woke up this morning, because I wake up at dawn, so before dawn we had a power loss. Now Friday was the first day we didn't have rain. We had rain for 3 days, just constant, like decent drizzle rain, constant 24 type of thing. And then Friday, we didn't have anything, but it was really, really, really still. Like, if you ever go into, like, a forest or the woods or something, and all of a sudden, like, the insects, the bird, there's not even a rustle of something moving, in the leaves or whatever, because it just is, like, dead silent for, like, it feels like everything's holding its breath, kind of. It's kind of, I had noticed that Friday morning, and I did notice, like I said, that the the birds and the squirrels never came to eat. And usually, shortly after dawn, they're there. And yeah, so we did get a power before Friday. I remember the power flickered. It didn't really go off, but it flickered twice within like a minute or two of each other. And I hadn't really connected it. You know how when stuff like that happens, especially when it's not something that's a typical thing to happen, you know. So it kind of like knocks you off balance kind of thing. Not physically, well, physically, but you know, just your processing is like, wait, what? I have to put new input in. Hang on, you know. Um, yeah, and I looked it up because why would I know what earthquakes, even small ones, could affect? It's not like I would be typically worried about it in New Jersey until now. But yeah, I noticed. I was just talking to, like I said, to the neighbor, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, we did. I did notice that." She said, "When I came home from work, I noticed Thursday that it was the wrong. The clock was like had to be reset and stuff." So yeah, and I did notice when I had woken up Friday morning that my computer was off, and it was off again. It was off also. Well, anyway, we just lost two times now. Flickers of power. It is so fucking weird. I gotta tell you, I know it's like this anxiety has gone beyond. Oh my god, I did want to get sleep last night, but the thing is, now every time I see something shift or go, I'm like, I'm not even thinking, oh, a heavy vehicle just went past in the parking area or something, or just a wisp of wind just came through and and just ruffled, whatever it was on the walls or anything. That's what I'm looking at. And now, every time that happens, it is usually a little wisp of, wind going by, or somebody outside, for a moment that makes things. But now the first thing, and that's going to be when the power goes out too, because like I said, thinking in hindsight, in the last few weeks, several weeks, we've had where it's like, in hindsight, knowing what I know now, as opposed to what I believed then, about earthquakes in Jersey. Yeah, electricity can be affected with seismic stuff. And we've had it go zip out once. The first time this morning was just, but I had just rebooted the computer because when I woke up, it was off. And I just leave it on, takes a while to boot up sometimes. So a lot of times I'll just leave it on because I'm going to sleep to music on it or something. But it was off. And the cats, I have it things over by the where the cats can't just walk on it and turn it off. Because that can mess up if something like that happened, and then when it booted up, whatever. If the keyboard's touched while it's booting up, you can totally fuck it up by giving it a prompt command when you didn't mean to, in the wrong space. Believe me, it happened. I had to get my nephew's friend to have him walk through the whole black screen thing. Anyway, so I have noticed that we've had fluctuations. And while I was talking to the neighbor earlier, there's something that I told her something that had occurred to me this morning, the first time when I thought the electricity flickered, but it wasn't even enough that, like, it disconnected the internet or even the computer. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a flicker, but it was enough to turn some things off, like your microwave will instantly when there's any surge. And this fan on the tabletop behind me, that little black fan, instantly any interruption and it's off, and you don't have to reset them; they'll just pop back on. And well, a few months ago, it was like early afternoon, and I was doing something on WordPad, and I was trying to describe it to her. I heard, imagine if it was like a momentary crack boom that just had like a little vibe, just for a boom where you know how, like, if a really loaded down tractor trailer goes by on a smaller vehicle, on a smaller road, not a freeway per se, right by, or a loaded down mail truck or something like that on a little country road going up a hill, how it like really gets loud. But it's like, it was weird. It was imagine if you're in a loaded tractor trailer and you and a couple mail trucks slammed into a power pole, and the huge amount of crap that would sound, and the power pole had a transformer on it, so that huge boomy, it was a boom, but it was more of a crack too. It was an odd sound, and it was like just momentary, and I was like, what was that? Because sometimes when when you're a heavy vehicle or something like that goes by, how it kind of feels like, it makes it feel like you're rattling a little bit. Yeah, that's what it felt like. But it was like just momentary, just boom. And kids were in school because it was early afternoon. A lot of people were at work or out and about, because I actually did walk out, and I didn't even think of that until this morning, and it's Sunday, 2 days later. And it occurred to me, because believe me, my head for these last 2 days, there's all these things. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that was part of it, things that I'm realizing now. I'm like, I noticed that I didn't hear any insects, let's say, for instance, on Friday morning. I noticed it because I remember noticing it in hindsight, but I didn't take note of it per se, like it was saying anything. I'm like, it was one of those, I haven't seen the birds at all. And the squirrel, or nobody's come for peanuts. Wonder why. I don't even hear any birds. I don't have any insects either. That was kind of, and then I just like, that's weird. Maybe it's because it's the first day after all that rain. I don't know. And then you blew it off. And then that happened. So I am wondering, because she's always moving under there. It's just usually less than 2.5 on the Richter scale. So anything 2.5 or less, you're not going to feel on the surface. So she's been moving all along, apparently. But yeah, that's an interesting little bit of information that I haven't mentioned before, because it hadn't occurred to me till this morning, till my brain got to that part of processing all this for the last 2 days. So we're probably going to get more of that, because it flicked, like I said, very momentarily this morning, almost like if you blinked you missed it type of thing, unless there are things that won't come back on, because some things don't, like that fan will. But I've had fans before that if the power goes, if it loses power, you have to actually turn it back on. It won't just automatically come back on when the power comes back on. This one does. And that's why I like it, because it's a good indicator for me. But that's happened often enough in the last several months. I mean, even through the winter or the fall. And now I'm wondering, if she was getting a little more active even back then, but still, because we're on a major plate, but like I guess a minor edge, you could figure. That's not where usually all the action is, even though we have three small, well, I guess minor, maybe probably, fault lines, all like from Jersey to New York and lower Pennsylvania. The bigger of the three is the Ramapo fault line. But I think, now that I've been, like I said, because there's no other people and there's no job, there's, to distract me. So my head is working on 7 different things at one time, 24/7. That, maybe that's why I'm always so tired. Maybe that's why I'm always so tired. But yeah, it was really weird. Because when the power went down again, I was like, ugh. Because like I said, when the first time when it flickered earlier today, this morning to me, it's what, 1:00? Yes, I need reading glasses. Yeah, it's 1:00. So 48 hours, a little over 48 hours since. So that makes sense. But yeah, when it went out and didn't flick and was gone, that's when I'm like, like I said, I've been thinking in the subconsciously as well as consciously for 2 days, and now because a lot of times when you lose cable, or internet, or it used to be phone lines. People still have landlines, but a lot of times if you lose your power or your cable, and it's not because you didn't pay your bill, usually, at least in my experience, it's either a lot of wind or something that's affecting lines and stuff, or somebody hit a pole that has a transformer that's on your line, or that is your line, or whatever. There's something reportable, why it happened. They're updating the network, or there's reasons why. Satellite blocking, momentary, whatever, there are reasons why electricity, power, or like internet and stuff do go out when it's, like I said, not inclement weather, not windy, nobody has hit anything, nothing's blown up, and yet you have no power. And now, that's happened quite often, actually, in the last, I'm thinking, I've been here 2.5 years at this place. And the last several months, it's happened enough. It's happened enough where there wasn't any kind of external explainable thing. And believe me, it was annoying me even back then. Why? Now, the only internet available in this place, it's a big place, is Optimum. I know. The other place, it was the only one available, if you didn't, for cable, if you didn't stream. And I didn't stream. I couldn't afford, a streaming TV at the time. And I didn't have a super big monitor. But when I did the move, my niece bought me a Roku TV, and I just went straight streaming. But I still get interruptions on my internet, even though I don't have a cable box. And in the last several months, I would think, last year, I had noticed power, shit like that, has gone down more frequently than it should. And there were several times, and like I said with Optimum, I know, I have no choice here. And they're not even going to fiber optic at this complex, which BITES I'll tell you what. And tweaks me. That just really twists my shorts. So, and they charge. Please don't talk to me about it. Seriously, anyway. But I don't really have much of a choice, even with streaming, with your internet. So that really is a pile of BS. But they need to be like they did with the phone and gas companies when we had landlines, or phone and electric companies, where there can't be monopolized. Where here, still, internet and cable companies can you don't have a choice of everybody. It's depending on where you are. These people, they're not allowed. Comcast isn't allowed here, but Univision isn't allowed here. And the homeowners, the renters, don't have a choice. If you move into that neighborhood, that's who you get, which is not right, because then they can charge whatever they effing want. That's why they stopped it decades ago with the phone companies and the electric companies, the new electric companies that were popping up. Because when they monopolize like that, they can pay or you don't get, and that's not cool. Because they do charge extraordinary, and they never credit. Even when they promise you, they lie, and prices go up, and they're not the same, and they're different every month, and it's ridiculous. I get it. So I kept thinking, well, it's just their stupid equipment, or it's just their stupid system. But trust me, I have in the last year had my internet interrupted, and not because I didn't pay, at least a dozen times. At least a dozen times. And there was 2 different times that had happened repeatedly. Like, it happens, they get it going, a day and a half later it happens again. Then the next day it's again. And I'm like, all that time I'm like, WTF? How horrible of a company are you? And now I'm wondering, I mean, they are a horrible company. Don't get me wrong. But now I'm wondering if she's been moving a lot more, even long before Friday. Because we have, and it's not just Optimum. It's not just the cable. Like I said, it's electricity too. It's happened enough in the last several months, let's put it this way, that I actually finally, a couple times ago, went ahead and just signed up for updates, because it was happening. Usually I didn't do it because once in a blue moon it might happen. They might have an issue that they're working online, or somebody downed a line or whatever. But not the electric company. They're Jersey Central Power and Light. They're on it pretty much. So yeah, just a bit of a hindsight and introspection. But now I'm honestly wondering if the movement underground actually picked up in the last few months. It just wasn't quite at that grinding, rolling on the surface point yet. Because we definitely have had power and the funny thing is power and internet outages. And the funny thing about that is during the entire initial event, I never lost power or cable. I mean, power or internet. And 7.5 hours later, when we had the 4.1, I think, or 4.0 aftershock, when we felt that aftershock, we still didn't lose power and internet. Wild. And yet we lose power when it's barely a breeze to like barely ruffle the new growth on the bushes. No accidents, no official work being done, but out. There aren't all that many things that cause power outages and internet outages. Really, there aren't. Okay? And yeah, when we lost the power this time, I didn't lose internet. Well, of course I lost the internet because I didn't have the power, but the internet was still working. So, I mean, as soon as everything booted up, as soon as we booted up, it happened again. That's why I was so frustrated this morning. Just got it booted up, maybe working 10, 15 minutes. Finally, the lag is gone, and you get down to, and then it happened. Then it down again. So that was utterly frustrating. And when it goes like that, it usually takes a little longer to boot up than if you, like, close down normally and boot it up next time. It's fast. But it seems that, at least this computer, it seems that if it's just shut off, like if it just goes out, like if you just pull the plug and don't, do the process, it takes forever to boot up. So, but yeah, it's interesting what's going on. So, I don't know, my guts, and it was even last night, it's like, the cats are relaxed yesterday. Saturday, they were relaxed, but they were very annoyed easily. Let's put it that with me. Maybe it was just me. But, yes, so I was relaxing, because they'll pick up stuff. I've been kind of keeping an eye on how they're acting. Now I'm more aware of it, because I'm now aware that indeed New Jersey can get earthquakes that you feel on the surface. That you feel. Okay? Really feel. Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing rattling on the walls or skittering across, surfaces like on Friday. But everybody's coughing. But yeah, so I don't think we're going to have another where we like totally feel it. It doesn't feel that way. The squirrels, the birds, they've all been fine. I've been hearing insects yesterday, last night, this morning, today. But she's still not done. She's still, I don't know. I'm sure on the Richter scales they're picking up movement. Let's put it that way. Because I asked her when I called to report this area. They already knew, and I was like, I said, would this have anything to do with the earth movements increased in this area? She goes, well, I don't know. She goes, but I myself, she says, I can't say, but it does seem very close, doesn't it? I said, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's when I was like, got up onto the internet, and I'm like, can electricity be stopped? You get a power outage when earthquakes happen. What can be affected when an earthquake hits? When a minor earthquake hits. You just, all kinds of like keywords and phrases trying to like find out information this morning. So, I guess I'm going to be on anxiety alert for a few more days. And I know places like, Japan and Taiwan and, California will be like, here, hold my avocado toast, hold my beer, That ain't no, somebody was like, we don't wake up for it unless it's 5.5 or more. I'm like, 4.8 isn't that far, and it's in a state that you don't generally feel any of the earth movement, okay, below you. It's not that strong there. So, yeah. It is a big deal. It's a big deal if an iceberg would pop up in Texas or fire spouts popped up in Minnesota, right? Yeah, that would be different. And it would be a bit newsworthy for the area, even though it wasn't huge. It's not normal for them, okay? I mean, you don't see tornadoes ripping through Florida. Yeah, they handle hurricanes. Let's see them handle a tornado. It's wind, yeah, and it's different than a hurricane wind, okay? So those of you that live in high earthquake feeling areas, I'm not a snowflake whiner. We are not whiners. It is not something we're supposed to be looking out for. That's what it is. I mean, let's put somebody that lives in a landlocked country or state their entire life, let's just bring them on over to the ocean and plop their little rear ends in a rip and see how they do. Oh, it's a rip. They're easy. You just have to know how to do it. Yeah, Australians and South Africans be like, "What's wrong with you? It's water." Jeez, person. Well, meanwhile, the person from California's going, drowning in the rip, saying, "Oh, I can handle earthquakes." The whole point, it didn't lessen our experience when we're not used to having something we consider solid moving enough we feel it and we're reminded. Okay, it's a bit of a surprise, like, oh, that's right. And that's true. You guys, how about if we had an oil spill on the Great Lakes? People down in the Gulf of Mexico, down there in Texas and Mexico at the Gulfs and stuff are all like, what do you mean you don't know where to start? Please. They've had to do it before. They're trained, they're experienced, they're knowledgeable, whatever, they're informed. Because they know they may need to be where they are. We are not, okay? I mean, I do remember in school, in elementary school, long ago and far away, I'm 61. But, I remember hearing about earthquake drills and stuff like that, but we all did fire drills. We learned to get under your desk and huddle, but, that's a lot more than mass shooter drills kids are in now. But anyway, we're not on that rant today. We are on I guess the earth ain't really done settling down yet here in Jersey. Oh my goodness. It's spring break. The children are home. All out on the playground. They're starting to come out now because the sun's gotten out here finally. It's been kind of overcast. It's been peeking in and out. But yeah, that was kind of wild. You don't expect your power to go out if you don't hear any kind of crash and the weather is nice. It's actually a very beautiful day out there. The clouds are all blowing away. And it's the sky blue. It's like more like robin egg blue. That's what the skies, when I lived in Arizona, that's what the skies looked like. That intense robin egg blue, I'm trying to look around to see if I have anything in that color, like, that I could bring to the camera. It's just a very, kind of like, almost like that kind of a blue, but a little more robin egg looking. But yeah, just that very blue. But anyway, I am going where I was supposed to go originally before my power went off and all that happened. I'm going to get my hair dye. It's hot, hot pink. And I may do it a lime green, yellow, hot pink coral. And do the rainbow. I'm going to do the rainbow in June. Because a certain seller in California has not gotten my product to me yet. And I need that for the rainbow. I was just gonna do a rainbow early this year instead of waiting for June. But we'll go ahead and do spring and then do the rainbow in the summer. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. You might hear about Jersey and the Earth in the next day or two. Who knows? I'm not discounting anything at this point. Trust me on that one. So, peace out. And keep your feet firmly on the ground. No, that's not going to work, is it? Peace out.